Spring Wasatch Reptile Expo 2024, and we're gonna take a walk around and see what we find today. Shall we? Got some Charlie cages here. We can take a look at those in a little bit. Got Mark's Arts booth.
Yellow anaconda.
Yeah, I'm not taking that one.
For obvious reasons.
Boa constrictor, water monitor.
Green iguana.
That's what she wanted. Take a quick. Pythons here, exotics.
Move out the way.
Look at this, guys. What we got here? These some fossils? Is the French knot. This turns off those Hey guys, so we're here again with Plants Reptiles from Springville. How have you guys been doing since the big bash?
It's been so good. It's been so good. We're really growing the Plants Reptile Academy. We got to do those last summer. We're doing them this summer again in a big way for all ages, pretty much 5 and up. And yeah, the room continues to grow. We actually just this morning announced that we're doing another big event because this year will be 5 years for the reptile room. And we've got some people coming that you'll be very, very excited about.
When are you gonna be planning on that bash?
That's gonna be in September.
September? Okay, we will see if we will get tickets to come and maybe help you guys out with that. I don't know if we'll be hands-on, but we will try and show. I do have video from your previous one. I just haven't had a chance to put it up, so I just barely got the software going so I can do it. So.
Understandable. We'll hope to see you there.
All right, well, we will see you then. We're gonna go on this day was making all the noise. We're assuming it's a bird. Parrot possibly. That's what's so noisy. The bald eagle, golden, and the high-tech cockatoo.
This one is so cool.
He's a little spazzed out. So we'll go talk to him real quick and then we will.
Sounds good. Yeah. why they don't use eagle screams.
What can you tell us about you guys?
I'm sorry?
What can you tell us about these guys a little bit?
Oh, these guys. This is Gypsy. She's a Moluccan cockatoo. She used to be at the bird show at the zoo.
Oh.
And this is what she does. Donations and eats sunflower seeds. And yells at everyone.
And missed the bird show. I wish they hadn't taken it off.
I know,
off
me
the
too.
zoo. Like, that was the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a golden eagle and a bald eagle.
He used to fly in the bird show.
Yeah.
So he was like the grand finale at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fun memories of the bird show.
Me too. She's around 30 plus years old. She can live to be around 80. She'll probably outlive us.
The reason why it's not often recommended for people to vipers is like, unless you're gonna, outlive the bird, it's not recommended.
Plus they're messy and noisy.
Oh yeah, it's, yeah.
What do you think of that?
Alrighty.
It's pretty loud, isn't she?
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright guys, so we are here with Jason down with Reptile Ventures and Museum. So we are gonna cover a little bit on crocodiles here. We have a few skulls. Jason, what can you tell us?
Okay, so to me, skulls are where the metal hits the meat. And since I love croc biology, we teach about croc biology. I also learned a lot about prehistoric crocs, but to understand the prehistorics, you gotta know what we got today. So over here is our caiman collection. In our world today, we're represented with 6, possibly 8 living species of caiman. This right here is the largest represented species, called the black caiman, Melanosuchus niger. This right here is the broad-snouted caiman, my personal favorite caiman species, actually. And then we have the Schneider's dwarf. What's cool about this is caimans actually represent all 3 major types. Well, kind of. There's 3 major types of croc skulls alive today. You have your Longirostine condition, which is like your gharials. Very long, narrow snouts. You have your Mesostine condition, which is something like alligators, most crocodiles. And then you have Breverstein, which is your round-snouted little animals who pretty much have no nose. And then you have your bulldog caiman. So broad-snouted caimans are really cool to me because pound for pound, I am willing to bet they have one of the strongest bite forces. If they were saltwater crocodile sizes, it would be a very, very daunting bite force. The kind of cool thing though is when you talk about alligators like this, you can actually see a condition that's not taught about in most universities called heterodonty. Heterodonty literally just means different tooth. And so everyone talks about reptiles being homodontal, which means same tooth. And so they talk about how all the teeth are the same basic shape. Long, pointy, cone-shaped tooth. And you can kind of see that these teeth are longer, they're sharper, and they're definitely meant for grasping and causing damage. But the teeth back here start to mushroom and turn more round. This is for crushing shells. So if it was like a large turtle, which we know most large crocodiles eat, they're eating large turtles, they're breaking the bones of their prey. This is where all the damage is happening. And they mushroom off and they're very rounded. So sharper, skinnier, rounder, shorter, longer. It's just, they're very different. And people don't talk about that enough with crocodilians.
Pound for pound with the bite force, I know the number is large. Isn't it like 100 pounds, or is it like, well, more than that?
So humans have over 100 pounds of bite force. So we actually have pretty strong chompers. But when you're dealing with animals like caimans and crocodiles and alligators, you're going into the thousands. And so, in fact, like it's kind of a little bit debated, but like a large saltwater crocodile like that, you're between 3,000 to 5,000 psi. When you're dealing with large fossilized crocs like Perusaurus, Deinosuchus, you're looking like somewhere like 80,000, 90,000 psi, which is comparable to the T-Rex, debatably larger or smaller than T-Rex, depending on where you stand with that. So you can learn a lot. Like you can actually tell caimans from alligators because caimans will have a cartilaginous septum right here. So in the bone, you won't see a nose ring right here. You notice all the caimans. If I had my American alligator one, you would see that it has a little bit more of a septumal ridge. But like crocodiles actually are missing a septum. So let's go check out our crocodile stuff.
Kiddos here.
So the big one over there closest to Angela, that is a saltwater crocodile. I'm gonna go stand over there.
He's 25 years old. I'm always gonna live
more than 100.
So when you're measuring a crocodile
So when
skull,
you want
most people
tiny
go
little
from
toys
here to
like this,
here.
this size.
That is actually not, so when you're doing the science,
Make sure
everyone
you have
has
the
to have
right-
the same unit of
right.
measure. So crocodile scientists agree that the measure would be from the tip of the snout to the back of the cranial crest. And so this is how you measure the skull. From here to here, this is about 27 inches. So this would be a huge crocodile. To the retroarticular process, yeah, we're going to 30 inches here. But crocodiles are very, very impressive because their teeth are a little bit more exaggerated when it comes to the what they're going, but they're also bringing down very exaggerated prey. So, you know, everyone likes to chalk up the Nile crocodile like it's bringing down the biggest food, but they talk about, well, they're bringing down water buffalo and zebra. There are water buffalo where saltwater crocodiles live. It's the Asiatic water buffalo, right? They have large pigs, which can get bigger than some bears. Pigs are very aggressive. They hunt down kangaroos. These are not going after small prey. They've been known to hunt sharks. So this is not a weak animal. So you can see the teeth tend to be a little bit more exaggerated. But here's what I really love. You ready? Largest living crocodile or extant crocodile species in the world today that we know of. And then we have the smallest extant crocodile species in the world, which is the African dwarf crocodile, which is now split into at least 2 species. But you'll notice that this one actually does have a completed septum, and I'm not sure if that's from the cartilaginous, because it's supposed to be a cartilaginous septum, which research actually just came out either this year or last year that a cartilaginous septum actually increases bite force because it gives rigidity to the skull. So there's actually an advantage of not always having a bony septum. And those are the kind of weird, nerdy stuff that scientists are asking themselves is like, what kind of septum do you have and why? Right? So crocodiles are a very big part of our ecosystems because they overlap with huge chunks of human populations. And we've seen, especially like the mugger crocodile, when we wipe them out of an ecosystem, it actually hurts the humans, but the humans were the ones who wiped them out. And so understanding the relationship they play in our lives and learning how that if we kill them, it actually hurts us more. As we learned with the mugger crocodile, all those villages had to move because there's no more fish because the otters ate all the fish. The mugger crocodile is the primary predator of those otters. And so it's a huge issue. We need them alive. But learning how to live alongside an animal like this is huge. So that's one of the many, many things we teach. And so hopefully with a little bit of help, maybe the world will get out there and appreciate predators while respecting them. Because when you're in their habitat, you don't go in the mud, you don't go in the water, they win. And you just have to acknowledge them as a predator. So.
And here in the U.S., I mean, in Utah, we don't have. I know they don't come this far. They don't come across the Rockies.
No, so in the United States, we only have 2 extant species. We have the American alligator, which is Alligator mississippians. And then you have the American crocodile, which is Crocodile secundus. And Crocodile secundus, or the American crocodile, only in the southern tip of Florida. And then the alligator, the American alligator, goes all the way up into the Carolinas, all the way over to Texas. And so that's kind of like Texas, East Texas is their furthest west territory, and they're in the southern chunks of those. But yeah, Utah used to have a lot of crocs. In fact, they just found more Deinosuchus remains here, especially a juvenile, which made one of the first known juvenile remains. We find teeth. We have a huge crocodile. BYU is about to publish on one of their crocodiles from the Green River Formation, and its primary diet, but I promised I wouldn't tell them their findings until they published. So
we got something coming up from BYU Studies.
Yeah, so in fact, BYU Museum of Paleontology, who's working on that publication, maybe they published it and I just need to follow up. They're actually redoing their exhibit hall, and you can go meet the old school guests on what Deinosuchus looked like. Now we know it's wildly wrong. And so if you go to the BYU Museum of Paleontology and you see that huge croc skull, it's horribly inaccurate. It's almost deplorable, but it's really cool to see the size reference. So Deinosuchus was a really cool animal, way underexploited as a species that people know scientifically about. My guess is the biggest crocodilian that ever lived. There's a lot of debate on its size right now. I've been following it. I'm still leaning them to the biggest ones hitting up to 40 feet, which is a 16,000 pound alligator. So put in retrospect, the biggest bull elephant ever weighed, I think, was 24,000 pounds. Average bull elephant's 15 to 16,000 pounds. So with Deinosuchus being a cousin to the American alligator, that is a alligataroid that weighs as much as a bull elephant, who has the bite force of a T-Rex. That is a no-joke kind of animal. Then you have animals like Sarcosuchus and Purosaurus, Purosaurus was a giant caiman who some guesses put it up to 43 feet, but now they're guessing it to be smaller because it has that more rounded like condition of that skull, kind of like the broad-snouted caiman. Just imagine Purosaurus as a giant broad-snouted caiman. Even though they're not that closely related through phylogeny, they're pretty analogous in head shape. So, yeah, very, very round, blunt heads. And if you look at them, they're shaped like bricks, except this would be more exaggerated in Purosaurus, where it comes down deeper, and then the nose is raised up, and the nose would be back here. So, yeah, giant killer crushing caimans. Who can complain, right?
Well, it would keep. I mean, the point of it would. Sorry. The point of it would be that it would just keep. To keep certain populations under control, you need the super predators. Without those, the food chain just dissolves.
Yeah, in fact, it's actually dissolving food chains because in order to hit sizes, your caloric intake or how much energy or food you need vastly goes up, which means you're in an ecosystem that is very hyperactive. A very, very proactive, energy-rich ecosystem that has to be able to fuel those large predators. So the second climate change goes in there into these ecosystems, like the giant lakes of South America, because the Amazon was not around when Purosaurus was, right? It was a giant lake system. And so that lake system was producing smaller animals that bigger and bigger and bigger animals were feeding. And so once the entire ecosystem changed, Purosaurus lost its food. And if without food, you're gone. So, you know, same thing with, you know, Deinosuchus, we think it lost a lot of its ecosystem-rich nutrients. So, I don't know what anyone's really hypothesized about Sarcosuchus, to be honest, but probably the same thing when you're dealing with super crocs. So,
well, that's awesome to hear about some of our prehistoric crocs and for how much it plays into our ecosystem, and we will check back with Jason on another day.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Alright guys, so we have wrapped up our expo for this spring, and we have one new creature we will drop off at home. He should be okay till then. I don't know if it's a he or she, to be completely honest with you.
Don't look at me, I don't do tarantulas.
So there's a spoiler alert. It is a eight-legged creepy crawly, so it'll be home, and I will have to get him or her set up as soon as I am able to, and I will see you guys on the next one. See you around.